I work in longevity. I have 7 Cs wellness centers around India in 5-star hotels and resorts. I'm also opening up the first longevity resort in Goa. And all my life, I've seen people struggling. I've seen people suffer. They're always like, Arpit, we want to do a lot. I want to change my life, but not able to. Monday, they'll be like, I'm very serious. I really want to do it. Friday, they will be like, bro, I was having too much workload, I can't. And by Sunday, they'll be like, can I please start next month? And I see this pattern again and again and again. And then I realized that it's not lack of information, it's lack of regulation. And that made me seek for answers. And then I came across Rene Descartes, the father of modern philosophy. He said, conquer yourself rather than the world. The solution to all profound problems are within you. And that's when I realized that mind sets the stage, and the stage is developed. One second. And that's when I realized that mind sets the stage, your stage drives your habits shape your biology. There's something, and your biology decides your health span. And this is not a motivational speech. This is a longevity map. We are terrible, absolutely terrible in predicting how we see our future events. That's why we suffer. We overestimate, we overthink, we always think, we overestimate the highs, we overestimate the lows. And that's what brings us to this. So I want to talk about this story. Imagine there is a lottery winner who won $130 million. And then there is a paraplegic who probably lost half of his body to paralysis. Now, what do you think after 1 year? Who was more happier? You won't believe the answer, because I'm sure all of us think obviously the guy who won the lottery will have Ferraris and cars and everything. He'll be much more happier, right? But that's not the answer. There was a study done in 1978 between 22 lottery winners and 29 paraplegics, and they both were happier at the same level after 1 year. Why? Because our mind adapts. Our mind adapts to the new baseline. That becomes our new normal. So we can often stimulate and predict how the thing's gonna taste, how things gonna smell. Let's say I tell you to smell a cappuccino. I'm sure you can smell it really well. Let's say I tell you to taste a garlic or a chocolate cake. I'm sure you're very good at it. But we always mispredict. We always mispredict how we're going to feel when we are doing it. And there are 3 traps to it, which I found out. Trap number 1, misprediction. Imagine you're with your partner or you're married, and I ask you that, okay, if you break up, you have a heartbreak, how are you going to feel about it after 6 months? And I'm sure, like me, you'll also say the same thing, that, oh, I'm going to be depressed, or it's going to change my life. I'll have anxiety issues. I won't be able to sleep at night. But what really happens is this. Our brain tells us that this is the best thing ever happened to me. It'll be like, good riddance. I never wanted to be this guy or with this girl anyway. Why? Because our mind exploits ambiguity. Our mind tells us the best possible reason which makes us feel good. So, emotional overreactions that we have when we think of things ahead of time are half of a battle. 95% of the stress that we have is all in the mind. So all these repeated strikes, all these repeated stress spikes that we have, all results in brain damage and body. Number 2 trap, comparison. Right now, we are in Delhi. We always complaining about AQI, the chaos on the streets, the climate. But if I tell you to imagine that, okay, would you like to shift to Goa? And I'm sure you'll all be like, of course, because the first thing on your mind will be the sunsets, the food, the drinks, the party, the vibe. And what we really miss is the essential part of it. What we compare is the unrealistic what we compare is the edited fantasy to the unedited reality. Because what we have in front of us is Delhi, and what we see is only the nice side of Goa. But what really we don't imagine is the traffic, the rent, the job, no shopping, no internet. Half the year has monsoon and heat. We don't want to imagine that. And that's why we are always dissatisfied of thinking that, oh, we are in such a bad place. And if we were in Goa, life would be so much better. We are always overthinking, and that results in mental fatigue. Third trap, materialism. I'm sure a lot of you must have heard people say, oh, I have interest in finer things in life. We all do. But do we want to really depend on upgrades for our happiness? This is a very cool study that happened in 1976 between 12,000 students, where they followed these 12,000 students for 20 years, and they found that students who were materialistic were had the lowest life satisfaction and at the highest level of mental disorders. So and comparison and endless chasing of goals and upgrades results in chronic pressure. So now I've spoken about why we suffer, why we overthink, but is there a way to recover? So I found these 5 trainable tools which can really help us. Number one, gratitude. Now, people feel gratitude is that, oh, always try to be happy, always try to be nice, that everything great is happening with me. No, gratitude really means is that you shift your attention for what's going wrong with you to what's really working for you. So there was this very cool study done. They divided 5 students into 3 groups, and those 5 students had to write about. Group one was gratitude group. They had to write about all the good things that happened to them. Second was hassles group, where they had to write about all the problems they had last week. And the third group was events, where they just had to write about all the events they had last week. And the answer was that all the people who wrote all the good things, what happened to them last week, resulted in have the maximum number of life as a whole well-being. Upcoming week was greater, physical symptoms were less, and hours of exercise was maximum. What that means is what you count counts. What you count repeatedly matters, and it rewires your brain. In adversity, you must have seen that people always say that, okay, one opportunity closes, two open up. And that's the best way to deal with life, because that is how gratitude really works. It makes you resilient, it makes you see the silver lining, it makes you see that you recover faster. It doesn't deny pain. Of course, you lose something, you are sad about it, but you're also hopeful what's coming ahead for you. So, like Buddha said, let us rise up and be thankful. For if we didn't learn a lot today, we at least learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little today, at least we did not get sick. And if we did get sick a little, at least we did not die. So, let's all be thankful. Our life, number two is the way to solve this is our life has become like reels. It's the scroll life. It's fast, swipe, next. But what we really have to do is pause, feel, absorb. And that's what savoring is all about. That's our tool number two. So, what is savoring? Savoring is when you eat without a screen, when you talk in depth with your friends, when you ask yourself that if these great things didn't happen in your life, what will your life be? And what does it do? It suddenly turns ordinary things into precious things. Savoring turns daily moments into recovery moments, lowering chronic stress and supporting the emotional and biological balance. So now tool number 3, exercise. I know we're all reading about longevity, we're all reading about supplements, biomarkers, scans. We all know that there are two main things which keeps your body in check. That is your muscle mass and your VO2 max scores. But what does exercise really do for your mental health? Exercise is the anti-decline medicine. There was a study done, which is a beautiful study, where they had medically depressed people and they put into three groups. The first group was put into only purely exercise. The second group was put into exercise and medication. And the third group was put into only medication. And after 10 years, after 10 months, they saw that people who were into purely exercise had the least relapse rate of depression. So, exercise is not just aesthetics, it's not just stress metabolism, it also helps you in long term care of your mind and body. Number 4 tool, obvious but important, sleep. We all know that sleep is important, we should all sleep on time, but does it have any scientific effect? Sleep sleep is something that we all need. Why? Because when we sleep good, our mood is better, our creativity is better, our insights are better, our solving problem is better. And if we don't sleep, our entire well-being is destroyed because nothing works for us, right? So it is very important that we sleep, otherwise our entire cognitive health goes down and our performance in all day all week does not go as planned. Sleep is nightly neuro repair and emotional recalibration. Now, I'm sure your grandmother or your parents always told you that, sleep over it, you'll get better. Sleep over it, tension mat lo, sleep over it. Why? It's actually scientific. Our mind housekeeping when we sleep comes in, takes care of our table, which is chaotic, puts our charger on point, put our files on point, put everything in place. So when we wake up in the morning, voila, we have the idea how to solve this. It's like our intern who's working for us in the night while we sleep. Fifth, kindness. Now, when we think about happiness, we always think about me more. But kindness is more about contribution, connection, relations. And that's what this study said. This was something very interesting that happened in University of British Columbia, Canada. So the professors there who were doing the research, they went out randomly and went to the students and then said, okay, you have two options. Take $5 and spend on yourself, or take $20 or spend on somebody else. And everybody chose $20. And that's when they found out that people enjoy more, people feel more happy giving than rather spending on themselves. But then there was a question that arrived. Question was, okay, Canada, $5, nothing big. Probably you can get a Starbucks latte. So maybe that's why people chose $20. It was nothing big that they could have done for $5 anyway. So they're like, okay, let's do this study somewhere else. Then they did this study in Uganda, where the monthly income of people is not more than $200. And the study gave exactly the same result. People picked $20 over $5. You know what that said? That meant that no matter what culture, what country, what income levels, everybody felt happier and kinder while they gave something away. So, all these tools that I told you, these 5 tools, have to be glued together with one thing, that is integrity, which is commit to yourself. So there's this story, very funny story, where a mother and a son, they both of them went to Mahatma Gandhi, and the mother told Gandhiji that please tell my son to stop having sugar. And Mahatma Gandhi looked at the kid, looked at the mother, and said, please come to me after two weeks. After 2 weeks, again the mother and son came in, and Mahatma Gandhi looked at the son and said, boy, stop having sugar. So the mother was confused. She's like, why did you make me come all the way second time? You could have told him this the first time I was here. Then Mahatma Gandhi said that I said this because even I was having sugar back then. So people do not follow advice. People follow authenticity. If you want to change the world, you have to start with yourself. Happiness is what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. So here's the truth. If your mind is chaotic, longevity is just a wish list. And if your mind is in training, longevity is a lifestyle. Thank you.